Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel at Avid Readers Club. My name is Miss Folake and welcome to this segment that I've tagged Drop Everything and Read with Me. Remember from our last story of There is No Place Like Home in the Adventures of Lizard and Toad, we'll be taking the second story from these adventures in this particular book. And remember, our author is Julia Johnson and it is illustrated by Natalie Merheb. The story we'll be reading today is titled The Discovery, as part of the adventures of Lizard and Toad. What do you think they will be discovering? Drop everything and let's read. The Discovery. Last night, some enormous rocks came crashing down the mountainside into the wadi. Lizard heard the noise, so did Toad. He buried himself deeper into the mud so that he didn't have to listen. There might be a scary big monster lurking out there. Oh, look at how the author has described the monster. The monster is big. The monster is scary. And then the author also used something so powerful. Instead of using a usual verb, she has used a very powerful verb, lurking. Do you know what lurking means? Please find out. The sun is up, and so is Lizard. Some rocks are falling. Toad, he calls, come and look. But Toad isn't sure he wants to look. He keeps his eyes tightly closed. You can't keep your eyes shut all day, says Lizard. Can't if a light matters, Toad. Well, you won't catch that juicy bug if you do. Toad's eyes snap open, but the bug, if there was a bug, seems to have flown away. Lizard has got a good sense of humor. Then he sees the fallen rocks. Who threw those? Toad gulps. We could have been squashed, Lizard. Nervously he looks around. Only a big scary monster is strong enough to throw such heavy rocks. Don't be silly, Toad, Lizard tells him. No one threw them. They just fell. And anyway, big scary monsters don't live here. They might do, Lizard. You can't be sure. Just because you haven't seen any, it doesn't mean they don't live here. Lizard taps his feet impatiently. Big scary monsters only live in stories, he says. But Toad isn't listening. He's staring at something, he says. He's staring at something. Look, he says, pointing at the mountainside. The rock fall has left a large gaping hole in the mountain. Oh no, I love this description. A large gaping hole. Look at that. Instead of just saying a hole, the author has gone ahead to describe what the hole looks like. That's what makes stories interesting, when we use powerful adjectives describing words to describe what we mean. The monster probably lives up there. Let's go and have a look, suggests Lizard. Then you can see for yourself that there is no such thing. Are you mad? Shouts Toad. We might get eaten. Well, I'm going, says Lizard. You can stay here if you like. But Toad doesn't want to be left behind, and even though he's afraid, he hurries after Lizard. Up close, the hole is enormous, and it disappears deep into the mountainside. It's dark, whispers Toad. I think we should go back, Lizard. I'll be scared too if it was me. You're the one who always wants adventures, laughs Lizard. Come on, Toad. Your eyes will soon get used to the dark. The monsters live in caves, and this is a cave. His heart thumping in his chest, Toad follows Lizard into the cave. It's cold inside. Toad shivers, and the two of them blink in gloom. Can you blink your eyes? And then Toad sees them. Bones, he cries, hopping into the air in fright. Lots and lots of bones. Sure enough, there are bones all over the floor of the cave. I told you, a monster lives here, Lizard. These must be the bones of all the animals it's eaten. He stares in horror. Let's go. But Lizard is curious. Wait a minute, Toad. Just look at the size of them. They are huge. We don't know any animals with such big bones. Have you noticed how something big is being described in the story? There was a word before, enormous. Now I found another one, huge. These are all synonyms for the word big. When something is big, you can say it's enormous, it's huge. You can also say another word, gigantic. What do you mean, lizard? Poor Toad is terrified. Do you know what it means to be terrified? Please find out. Goodness, look at this. Lizard continues, pointing at something big and sharp and white lying on the ground. I think it's a toothed toad. It's gigantic. Look at that. I told you before. Now the word is here. Gigantic. Can you say it with me? Gigantic. Toad shivers. He doesn't want to go anywhere near it. I think it's time to leave, it says. And these, look at these, says Lizard, pointing to some footprints. They are enormous. They are the most enormous footprints Toad and Lizard have ever seen. Look at the footprints too. They're so enormous, so big. Please let's go, Lizard, Toad urges. But then they hear a noise outside the cave. What do you think is going to happen? It's coming, croaks Toad. The monster is coming to get us. Quick, Lizard! The pair of them hide behind a rock. But it isn't a monster. It's two young men. They are carrying rope and they are wearing head torches which light up the cave. Toad and Lizard make themselves very small. Who do you think these two young men are? Are they ordinary students? Do you think they are reporters? Do you think they are historians? Or do you think they are archaeologists? Can you say that word with me? Archaeologists. Yeah, let's find out who these two young men are. Goodness, look at those, one of the men exclaims, pointing to the bones. They walk around the bones very slowly. They examine them carefully. They can hardly believe their eyes. It looks as if they fit together, says his friend. Do you know what I think? I think we've just discovered a complete skeleton. Yeah, there's another word, skeleton. Skeleton is the bones of any animal. The flesh you have on your skin is a bone is underneath it. The flesh covers the bone. It's like the framework of any animal. It's always underneath. You do not see the bones. But this time around, these bones are seen because, of course, there is no flesh, and they think a monster must have eaten the human here or whoever it is that was, or whatever animal that these bones might be for. What a find! Do you think it's a dinosaur? His friend nods. Could be. It's probably millions of years old. It's certainly a monster. Toad nudges Lizard. You see? He whispers. What did I tell you? But it's dead. Lizard whispers back. It lived millions of years ago. I'm sure Lizard is just wondering why Toad is such a scaredy cat. So afraid. The watch as one of the men takes off his rucksack and gets out a camera. Wait till the newspaper hears about our discovery, he says. We'll be famous. Lizard looks at Toad. But they didn't discover it, he says. We did. Ah, yes, they did. Lizard and Toad discovered these bones first. They really deserve to be the ones who take the ownership for the discovery. You're right, Lizard, Toad replies. We were here first. It looks thoughtful, and the world should know. He takes a deep breath. Come on, Lizard. The young men take it in turns to kneel down next to the enormous skeleton and take photos of each other. They don't notice a lizard peeping between the ribs. Peeping, hear that word. Peeping. Peeping means to look at something. That's another synonym for look, but a powerful one. They don't see a toad perched bravely on a big toe bone. But when they see the photos in the newspaper a few days later, they will be very surprised indeed. Why do you think they were very surprised when the photos are showing in the newspaper? What do you think about this discovery? Have you ever discovered something that is that something that is ancient, or something that is so precious? Have you ever made any discovery like that? What bones do you think what animal do you think has these bones, or do you think it's a dinosaur? What kind of monster do you think these bones must have been from? Or did you really believe also that a monster lived in this particular cave? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed reading the story. Now we have come to the end of the two stories we picked from this particular book, titled Lizard and Toad in There Is No Place Like Home, written by Julia Johnson and illustrated by Natalie Merheb. I hope you've enjoyed reading these two amazing stories. Join me again next time. Bye.